Now let me go into the 5 serious arguments for the existence of God. The first cause argument is in one sense very simple and in another sense very complicated. The simple form is this. Let us define a first cause as an absolutely first cause, an uncaused cause, something that causes other things but is not itself caused. If there is a God, God would be a first cause. A creator is by definition a first cause of everything but himself. Now, either there is a first cause or not. If there is no first cause, then there are no second causes either, because second causes operate only if they're caused by a first cause, whether there's only one second cause or a finite number or even an infinite number. Think of a train. The locomotive pulls the cars and itself. The cars can't pull themselves, they can only pull each other, but they can pull each other only if they're pulled by the locomotive. If there is no locomotive, there can't be a train, whether there's one car or 10 or a million. So unless there is an uncaused cause, there can't be second causes. That seems to be a logical principle. You can deduce that simply by an analysis of the meaning of the word cause. The second premise is a sense observation. There are second causes. There are caused causes. In fact, the entire universe is an enormous 18 billion year long series of trains or dominoes or caused causes. Well, put the two premises together. If no first cause, no second causes, there are second causes, therefore there must be a first cause. First doesn't necessarily mean temporally first. This piece of paper is being held up by this podium. The podium exercises a causal effect on the piece of paper. It prevents it from falling down. But the podium doesn't exert its causality first in time, and then after it finishes, then the paper begins to be held up. The cause and the effect are simultaneous. So God doesn't have to be in time in order to be the first cause. He could be the simultaneous giver of existence to everything that exists. Another version of this argument is the contingency argument. That's a little more abstract. One way of formulating it is this. A thing exists, and a thing has an essence or a nature. I exist, and I have human nature. A horse exists, and it has the nature of a horse. A unicorn does not exist, but it has the nature of a unicorn. Now, nothing exists simply because of its essence. A unicorn has a perfectly good essence, and so does a horse. But a horse happens to exist, and a unicorn doesn't. Because whatever forces brought a horse into existence, but didn't bring a unicorn into existence. We see nothing in the universe, and we can imagine nothing in the universe whose essence accounts for its existence. Therefore, everything in the universe is contingent on something else with respect to its existence. Analyze its own inner being, and you'll find this distinction between its essence and its existence. Now, if there is a God, God is not a creature, but the creator. So God does not receive existence from anything else. He is not contingent on some other being for his existence. Nevertheless, he exists. Therefore, he must exist by his own essence, necessarily. Now, is there such a God? Well, if not, then everything in the universe is contingent for its existence on nothing. If you say, but I was given existence by my parents, and they were given existence by my grandparents, and so on, you still haven't accounted for anything, not even my existence. That's like meeting a large iron chain suspended in midair and saying, why in the world doesn't it fall? And you see another link that's holding it. You don't stop there. You say, why are both links held up in the air? And then you look and you see a third link above it. And you don't stop there until you find out that there's a large crane on top of a building, which is perched on the ground, which is holding that chain. But until you have something that explains itself, so to speak, you don't explain anything else. It's dependent on that something. That's probably the most abstract of all the arguments for the existence of God, but perhaps also the most profound. Aquinas tries to put it in a very concrete way, and I'm not sure whether this way is valid or not, but let me give it to you, just because it's so concrete in the other expression. If there is a necessary being, a being that has to exist, it exists eternally. It cannot ever lose its existence. That would be God. Now, everything else has the possibility to cease to exist. Everything in the universe can die. Now, if there is no God, then there is infinite time. There's no creator, therefore no act of creation, and therefore infinite time for every possibility to be actualized, including the possibility of death for everything. Well, if there's already been infinite time, then every possibility has already been actualized, so why hasn't everything already died? And once it dies, it'll never start up again. I'm not sure whether that's valid or not, but it's at least concrete. Incidentally, scientific confirmation of something like the contingency argument, I think, has come through Big Bang cosmology. 20 or 30 years ago, scientists were divided into three groups as to the origin of the universe: the steady statists and the oscillation theorists and the Big Bangers. And the steady state theorists said the universe has always been here. The oscillation theorists said that the universe continually expands and contracts like an accordion. And the Big Banger said there has been just one Big Bang, and ever since the universe has been expanding. Well, nobody is a steady statist or an oscillationist anymore. Everybody's a Big Banger. And if there's a Big Bang, there must be a Big Banger. The argument from design is probably the single most popular and comprehensible argument for the existence of God. I met a doctor once who worked in Zaire for a while, and he had to make his way into a tribe that was suspicious of outsiders. And he won their confidence and saved their lives, so he was the Great White Father. And they asked him all sorts of questions about life in the West. And they asked him, do you have wise men there? They said, yes, we call them philosophers. Oh, what do they believe about the gods? Well, many of them are atheists. What's that? They didn't have a word in their language for that. That means they don't believe in any gods at all. No gods at all? Not one and not many? Not male, not female, not in the earth, not in the sky? Not good, not evil? No gods at all? There are people who believe that? And they buzzed around themselves like bees and said, how can this be? And they finally came up with a solution. These people are blind and dumb and deaf, right? They live in cellars all their lives. They have never seen a star or touched a leaf. No. There are many very simple and comprehensible versions of the design argument. If you walk down the street and notice the Empire State Building, you don't say, gee, it just happened. How about that? It just evolved. Even a thing like a watch obviously presupposes a watchmaker. Well, there is much more design in the universe than in a building or in a watch. So by analogy, it seems that the universe requires a universe builder. That analogy may be weak. No analogy in and of itself is an argument. But Aquinas' version of it, I think, works better. He says that when many beings with diverse natures work towards a common end, we can be sure that there is intelligent design behind that. If there's just random motions of the sand on a beach, that's just the wind. But if the motions make a sandcastle, we know that somebody built it. Or if there's a message, SOS, we know that somebody made it. Well, there certainly is more design in a single cell of your body than there is in any human artifice. I saw a survey once of scientists in the various sciences. They were asked, do you believe in a creator God? And the percentage who believed in God among astronomers, astrophysicists, and cosmologists was something like 90%. Also a rather large number among cell biologists. And as you get into the human sciences, it decreases until you finally get into psychiatry and sociology, where the percentage is very small. I think that's quite to be expected. The more you get into human undesign, the harder it is to see God. The more you get into natural design, the more you do see God. Many religious believers see evolution and the theory of natural selection as a threat to the design argument. I've never understood that. It seems to me that a God who wanted to play with the universe with a light hand and remain anonymous most of the time and use second causes